What's up, guys? Logan Moore here again with DualShockers, back once again with Michael Ruiz. We are out in front of the LA Convention Center. We just got our badges, so we are ready for the show this week. More importantly, though, about 2 hours ago, Microsoft's conference just ended. Holy crap, what a banger, dude. What a conference. I mean, yeah, what are your thoughts initially?
That, everything after this has, they have to put their A game now because Xbox showed up, and this was a make or break situation for them. I feel like they needed to come out and show that they have games coming out within the next year, and they showed 50 games, and all of them looked awesome. Every single video that we saw at the press conference, everything we saw was fantastic.
So the big rebuttal, I can already hear the internet commenters out there saying in responses, they didn't have enough first-party games, and I think they showed that they will soon, and we'll touch on that in a second. But obviously, we saw a lot of third-party reveals here. We saw a bunch of Devil May Cry 5 is the big one that stands out off the top of my head. We saw Cyberpunk 2077 finally reemerge from CD Projekt Red. There is a lot of third-party games coming, and of course, the complaint would be they're third-party games and they're not first-party games. But of course, when you are Microsoft and you've invested in an Xbox One X, you have the most powerful console on the market like they do, it makes sense for them to invest in third-party for a conference like this and highlight those games at their show because they're going to be the best on that platform. So
yeah, and also, going off of that, they acquired 4 studios and
5 studios, I think.
Yeah, and then they made one specifically for new IP, right? So in the future, we'll get some really cool stuff. They got the Hellblade developer, Ninja Theory, Undead Labs, Playground Games,
Propulsion with the people doing We Happy Few.
Yeah, and then what was the one that they made?
Can't remember the last one they made. Go look it up, DualShockers.com.
Yeah, so going from that, just that alone is it seems like they're gonna have a good future going.
So to me, this conference, to tie it up quickly here so we don't drag too long, I think Microsoft is showing that for the tail end of this gen, they even mentioned new hardware, which was kind of crazy for a split second there. This conference in a nutshell, I think, shows that for the tail end of this generation, the best place to play third-party games is going to be Microsoft with their console that they have. If you have that premium console and you've made that investment, go for it. And not only that, but by showing that they now have 5 new first-party studios, they're making a long-term investment for the future. So they are already posturing themselves for next gen, which we know is 2 or 3 years away at this point. They are going to be very well set up once next gen comes around, and their current gen stuff that they're still working on doesn't look too shabby either. So they've got a lot in the pipeline. I think they're going to be fine. I know a lot of people out there have been giving them grief, but I think this is the show they needed. You and I, and the person shooting this, are about to head over to Bethesda's conference, see what they have in store. Probably more of that Fallout 76. We will cut to that once their conference has ended, probably back in our Airbnb once again, and we will give you some more thoughts on what we see from Bethesda. So we will see you guys shortly. And we are back. Logan Moore here again. We just got back from the Bethesda conference. I'm here with Vault Boy number 1 from Fallout 76 and Vault Boy number 2 because it's, a multiplayer game now. In real talk, this is Michael Ruiz back. This is Editor-in-Chief Luke Cataldi. We were all at the Bethesda showcase tonight. Overall, I think a divisive showing from the internet, but I'm going to come out and say right now, fantastic showing. They pulled a play out of the Sony playbook and just decided to show us everything that we already knew was kind of coming, because why not? At least in regards to Bethesda Game Studios. Lou, we'll start with you because you have not talked on one of these videos so far. What do you think about it overall?
I thought it was great. Now, I know that a lot of people are critical because we saw a lot of things at the end that people are looking forward to. Obviously coming probably 5, if not more, years down the line, but we saw a lot of things that were coming this year, and some stuff really surprised me, like Fallout 76. I know that they were talking about online only, and that scared me. What I saw today didn't scare me. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I was skeptical coming in on Fallout 76. Maybe we'll touch on that here in a second as well. Michael, overall thoughts?
You guys, they announced a new Doom game.
All right. I thought, we did the Microsoft reactions before, and I was like, each conference has to bring their A game, and Bethesda definitely brought their A game this year. Again, like Doom's the big one for me personally. That you say that just those words, like just saying Doom is just whatever. Like I am all in on that. But everything else that they showed, and saying that they're working on next gen stuff, I feel like that's another thing that I think I wonder if we see in more. Yeah, I wonder if we see that in more conferences, like tomorrow with PlayStation specifically. But yeah, overall, like that conference was really good. And Andrew WK was a fun time.
Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Obviously, there's a lot of announcements. We got new Wolfenstein games, new Prey DLC. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Let's touch on the big things, though. Fallout 76, you mentioned it. It looks good. It's out to November 14th, if I am correct, later this year, which I think a lot of us expected it to release later this year, but it's still kind of ridiculous that we've now added a Fallout game to this already insane fall window. What about Fallout really stood out to you, Lou, with their showing with that?
I think when I've been thinking about Fallout, it's always been the sense of the single player experience and playing it solo in the wasteland, and I could never picture my friends playing it. And then when I was watching it today, I could really, really see me and my friends from home just sitting down playing Fallout together and just wasting people.
Yeah, I texted my dad right after the conference. My father's a big Fallout fan, or former Fallout fan, and I was like, hey, we could play this one together. And he's like, that's kind of weird, but that sounds kind of fun. So that might be something we try out together down the road. I don't know. What do you think about 76 overall, Michael?
Me personally, like, I'm not a huge Fallout fan. Like, everything about Fallout, as far as like world and setting and everything like that, is super cool. Like, I think it has a great like look to it, and the whole like vibe of like old, like, I guess it would be 40s or whatever. Whatever time frame.
Who knows what timeline that is?
It is. I think it's 40s. But yeah, like that whole thing of like it's a really cool thing, and I've never liked the combat of it. The thing that you said to me was that the combat, like, there was no VATS throughout that entire video. So maybe they refined the combat, and maybe that would draw me in a little bit more, which is I thought was a problem with Fallout 4. I thought the combat wasn't really that great as far as like.
They can just tap into plenty of the other development studios that have some of the best FPS tech. If they pull in Wolfenstein developers, then that is amazing. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think I think the shooting looks a little bit more refined on that. Obviously, I don't know if we're going hands-on with that. We will have to let you know. To jump to the one we will be getting hands-on with, most likely, we will be playing Rage 2 later this week. That was kind of the known quantity coming into the show. I don't think we need to spend too much time on that one. I think the gameplay looks good. Like, from what we saw, you and I will be the ones there playing that. We'll see how that is later in the week, and we'll kind of give some more thoughts on that with our final written preview. Let's wrap things up with the last two big things from Bethesda. Obviously, we got Starfield, which I think a lot of people knew was coming and was in the pipeline. That had leaked a few months or years ago at this point with their trademark for that game. So we had known that was coming. The interesting thing there is that Todd Howard said that was a next-gen game, so we will not be seeing that one for quite a while, and who knows how long it will be until we see Elder Scrolls 6, which is the game they finally confirmed will be after Starfield, which Todd Howard's spoken about Elder Scrolls 6 before. We knew it was real. It was really just kind of a confirmation trailer more than anything that, this game will come one day. What do you guys think about those final two reveals?
Well, I don't really know about Garfield. I don't really know too much about Starfield, so I'm going to skip over that. But Elder Scrolls, I think the coolest thing about that was that we're already talking next gen. Like, obviously, we've heard about it in the past. We've heard about it before, that is something that's going to happen. I don't think we've heard next gen in relation to that, though people have guessed. It does mean that Elder Scrolls is effectively skipping over the generation, even though we have Elder Scrolls Online. So that's really, it's interesting discussion. I'm excited for it, and I'm just happy to see that they're kind of working on it.
Final thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, Starfield, when I saw the trailer, I don't know why, I got like Star Trek vibes from it. Yeah. I don't know what it was about it that it gave me Star Trek vibes from it, but it did from from what little we saw. But yeah, like again, like going back to like them talking about next gen right now, maybe it's closer than when we think. Considering like it was at Microsoft and it's here, who knows if it's at PlayStation? Well, I mean, we'll know tomorrow, I guess. But yeah, like both things were really good to see, and having confirmation of like when Elder Scrolls 6, I think now people can kind of, rest a little bit until they get a little bit tired of like, oh, when is this going to happen? Blah blah blah. Like, where's it going to be set? Hopefully we'll find that out soon enough too.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a very long one on that. I think Todd Howard pretty much plainly laid that out, so don't expect too many answers from him on that. Probably not any more than he's already given on that. Overall, like I said at the top, I thought it was a good showing. Maybe not perfect if you're out there wanting a perfect conference. They did show, dude.
Right now.
There is an Elder Scrolls out soon. They do have that Elder Scrolls Blades game coming out later this year. We'll have to see how that is. Maybe we'll get a review up on the site. Are you a vampire?
Yeah, like Blade.
Yeah, maybe. We'll end the bad jokes. It's been a long day 2 of E3 2018. Be sure to subscribe, like, all that other good YouTube stuff. And make sure you're visiting DualShockers.com because we will have all the latest news up there, plus previews of everything else we're playing later this week. That includes some Bethesda games. So we will for sure probably be doing another one of these tomorrow after we see what Square reveals at their conference, as well as Sony tomorrow night. So be sure to check that out later in the week, subscribe, and we will be back with another one of these videos later. Until then, bye-bye.